All right. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Sunday night recap of Savage Sports. We will be going pretty much into the NCAA football world and then diving into the NFL, at least for all these afternoon games and this late night game a little bit, which I'm not too interested in the late night game. I doubt anybody in America really is right now, just because of who is playing and the fact that it's two teams that have won two games fighting for the top spot in their conference or in their division, better yet, which is pretty much almost irrelevant. But no, maybe it'll be a plus side to it eventually, but that's beside the point. Right now, though, we're
This
going to
is
kick off this
a
NCAA.
game. It's a game of who isn't the worst team in the NFC East. That's pretty much what it's a game of.
Yeah, but it sucks when it comes down to every week when they play inside their division, it's a battle for the top spot.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, we'll jump into a little college football. I'll start off Missouri, Florida. That game finally got played. They had a bit of a brawl at halftime, man, and classless. Dan Mullen going after kids. You would think he was out there to break up the fight, but he went after actual players for Missouri, which to me was a pretty classless act, man. You don't do that. You're a head coach at a major program. You should be breaking up the fight, not going out there trying to jump in and get into a fight. But Florida easily won that game, which they should have. I mean, it is Missouri. Jumping into our next game, though, Auburn destroying LSU. I don't know what's going on in Baton Rouge, but them Tigers put a ass whooping on the other Tigers. LSU got smoked. It's just they are the one hit wonders of college football. LSU has taken a turn for the worst.
Yeah,
I don't see them bouncing back this season and saving it.
no, no. LSU right now might as well be just preparing for next year. I mean, the most they can do is save face, and hopefully they play bad enough to actually get in a good QB and like revamp their line and pretty much the whole team because ain't nobody really doing too much right now at LSU. So I mean, you might as well hope for some recruits to come in and be like, "Oh, they won a national championship. They got some positions open. Definitely, maybe I can go down there and start. They have a prestigious program. I mean, but this season's over with, though. I mean, they have no
Yeah,
hope.
LSU lost to a bad Auburn team. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Auburn's not that good this year, and yeah, they just rolled over LSU with ease. So yeah, LSU, they may be the worst team in the SEC outside of Vanderbilt at this point.
I mean, did they get some referee help this time? I mean, normally, or at least here lately,
No,
they've been getting some help.
not this time. They didn't need any help. They just steamrolled the Tigers, man. I was quite surprised at how bad they beat them, but they beat them pretty bad.
God, that is horrible for them. Then, if that's the case.
Uh, Georgia, they beat Kentucky 14-3. I believe I called that. I said it was going to be a close game. Normally, that's a game that Georgia would blow that team out. Uh, but yeah, Kentucky, man, they're building something over there. They just got to get that offense right. But uh, they beat Georgia, or Georgia beat them 14-3. Good game to watch. Let's see who else. Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan State beats Michigan. Jim Harbaugh. I do not see Jim Harbaugh in Michigan in 2 more years. I just don't see it.
I don't even give him 2 more years. How many years has the man had to build that program up? He's what 4 or 5 years already, and he's still struggling to beat Michigan State, and then definitely isn't beating Ohio State. I mean, we've had Notre Dame come in there and kick the lights out of him. I mean, no, Harbaugh's going after this year. I don't see anything happening unless he miraculously beats Ohio State or Penn State. He's not staying, and I honestly don't see him beating either one of them.
Well, the only way I see Harbaugh staying after this year is because of the money hits. People are everyone
Yeah, he's definitely got a little paycheck, but yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you
Yep,
hear
we
me?
got you.
Yeah, like I was trying to say, I don't see what's going on down there. But as far as Harbaugh being gone after this year, I mean that's a lot of money to buy out his contract. How bad did COVID hurt your finances? So they might have to be stuck with him for one more year.
That sucks for them then because hardball is definitely not their answer whatsoever. So I mean, it's it's hard. Like honestly, I watched that game because it's Big Ten, so I had to watch. And I sit there and watch Michigan State defense pretty much dominate Michigan. It was hands down almost some sloppy play. Now, does Milton's stats actually show better than what he actually done? Possibly. And like he missed a whole lot, but he's not their answer at quarterback. I mean, just watching him throw the ball was just almost atrocious. So I mean, yeah, no, they need to find something to do with quarterback if he's going to stay there whatsoever. I mean, if this is Milton's last year, so be it. But he is definitely not the answer for their QB status, and their defense was not really pulling their weight either. So it was definitely something bad to watch. I mean, I was disappointed in it, honestly. I expected more. I mean, at least out of a Jim Harbaugh team, I guess you could say. I mean, that might be puffing smoke up his butt or whatever else, but it wasn't a good game whatsoever. I mean, it came down to the wire, but no, Harbaugh dropped that ball.
Yeah, he dropped that ball and dropped that ball big time, but something that you should be excited about, sticking with the Big Ten. The Buckeyes rolled. They did what they were supposed to do. Beat Penn State. It was a close game for a little while, but the Buckeyes did what they should have done, and they pulled away there in the fourth quarter. I really like Justin Fields. This kid should be in the top five as far as Heisman talk. He's a great quarterback, a great leader on the field, great with his legs. So yeah, go Buckeyes. They pulled a nice one off.
Yeah, they gave him a little bit of a scare for a minute. He's like, "Oh, y'all can almost keep up, all right." But I mean, for me, they literally need to play all four quarters. I mean, I get like the first couple plays normally are scripted in the game to see what the defense is gonna do, see how your offense is actually running. But if you're gonna sit there and play, you might as well go hard all four quarters. And I mean, the last three, yeah, they don't never really let up, which is a good thing for them. But hey, overall, the Buckeyes won, so I am happy about that. But that's like the only bright spot right now in the Big Ten. And then Wisconsin got their game canceled, so I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
the Big Ten definitely isn't looking too sharp right now. Uh, Back to the SEC, Bama did what they do. They steamrolled over Mississippi State. Mac Jones had a pretty good game. Mississippi State still trying to find out who they are and figure out who they are. Yeah, not much to say on that for me. I knew Alabama was going to go in there and walk the dog on them, so they
yeah,
did what they're supposed to do. They did what top teams do.
that is very, very true. I mean, besides of all the games I've watched so far this whole year of college, I mean, I ain't got seven different TVs I can sit there and hook it up to and watch every single one, and replays don't really count for everything. I mean, Ohio State so far, the first two games of the season, they have shown that they can play. Alabama almost tossed one out the window on themselves, but overall, they've shown that they can play. Georgia dropped the ball on one, but they can hang in there. Auburn, if they got the referees, or I don't know what's going on with them, it's like 50-50. It's like playing Madden. You hope that the computer isn't going to cheat you at the end of the game. So, I mean, there's not really too many teams that I have seen this year that are even worthy of being like top 10 or at least on a consistent basis. I mean, I can't really name any of them off the top. Florida was supposed to be up there. Florida dropped the ball. Miami was supposed to be a good one. They dropped the ball. I mean, who's left?
Yeah, and Georgia's definitely not a top five team in my opinion. Top 15 maybe. but Georgia does not belong in the top five whatsoever.
No, no, and I'm not even going to put anybody in the Big 12 over there. I mean, speaking of Big 12, undefeated Kansas State, not anymore.
Smoked, smoked by West Virginia. West Virginia pretty much showed us K State is who we thought they are, which is a trash program, and they will always be that. Which a Big 12's trash in general. I can't stand the Big 12. They None of those teams impress me. Oklahoma State, they lose to Texas.
Yeah,
Uh, I did not see that coming. Oklahoma State was the one Big 12 school I did have respect for, but now that's out the window.
that's all the standings everywhere as far as that whole division goes. I mean, that conference is just haywire. I mean, Kansas State, your number one team. Then Oklahoma State supposed to be your number two, and then Texas comes in and beats them, and then you got Oklahoma, who is pretty much thrown in the towel almost. I mean, what are you even looking at as a championship right now?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma State at the end of the season will be your Big 12 champions. But I don't know. I'm not impressed with any of them. Like I said, Oklahoma State was the one Big 12 team I was highly impressed with because they were actually playing great defense. And then Texas put 40 on them. So,
Yeah, I guess you could say we'll say this, everybody. Happy late Halloween. I mean, everybody got to see everyone's mask come off yesterday. So, I mean, Kansas State took off their mask and showed, that they're like Casper the Friendly Ghost. I mean, yeah, I mean, the other game I could even speak on right now would be Clemson without Sunshine on their team.
yes, yes. How important is Trevor Lawrence to Clemson right now? I mean, and he's got to miss next week's game.
Yep.
So, what's going to happen next week? I should have been a little more prepared to talk Clemson. I do not know who they are playing next week. I hope it's a cupcake for their sake because Boston College almost pulled that off and probably should have won. But hey,
Yep.
number 9, Etnine, that's a bad cat. That dude can run the ball. But Clemson seems a little lost without Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, those that are watching, go ahead and put it out there for everyone else. I know everybody has their own little sports podcast. Normally, it's tailored to their specific school, and they only have stats on that one right now. But I will say this one again, as we have done plenty of times before so far. We called it. I know I definitely called it. Ed team is going to have to carry that team, and he has done it. That was literally what it was going to come down to. The quarterback scored at the end. Yeah, good job, true freshman coming in and handling some weight, but it was Boston College. Boston College. I can't
Yep, yep.
remember. I mean, but hey, we called it. So, I mean, definitely understand that we ain't BSing y'all on this one. I mean, we love our sports. We love football, hands down.
Love it.
NFL, NCAA. I mean,
Lead it.
but we're calling it as we see it before anybody else is sitting there even calling it. We didn't read their game plan. We didn't sit there and talk to Dabo and ask him what was going to happen. We knew.
That's it. We knew. Sticking with the ACC, though, my Knowles had the week off, thank God. They play Pitt next week. Hopefully, we see a good turnaround from FSU. But North Carolina, number 15, gets beat by Virginia. That takes a little bit of my, hey, we beat the number 5 team in the nation. Yeah, wow. Wow. North Carolina losing to Virginia. That was a kick to my balls because I was hoping to brag on FSU beating them. But I can no longer do that. You lose to Virginia, your top 15 team, and that happens. You've taken away the little bit of glory I did have. But I'm gonna say this: when we beat them, they had that number 5 ranking right beside them. So we beat them when they
All
were ranked
right.
number
True. North Carolina, yeah, I don't know what they did. Or better yet, I know what they didn't do. They definitely didn't win when it counted. But for Clemson, I had to pull it up. Um, they're going to be in trouble next week.
Who they got?
They're playing Notre Dame.
Oh, ooh, ooh, this is not good for Clemson. If you're a Clemson Tiger fan, you better be worried right now. You better hope that Etnine and that defense step up majorly, because I know how they performed against Louisville, but I also know what they just did to Pitt. Notre Dame's a real good school. They've got a they got a good program over there. Notre Dame's
Definitely
probably got one
balanced.
of, yeah, they probably got one of the best O lines in the country. So Clemson better be ready next week. Dabo better pull some of that magic out the hat. They better go get some of that church money and take it to the refs, because Notre Dame's going to bring it. Does it say where that game's at, Griff? Is it at Clemson, or is it in Notre Dame?
Hey, they're going to have to fight them Fighting Irish from the time they get off that bus to the time they get on the field to the time they possibly leave. They're going to Notre Dame.
All right, I'm going to give y'all a first from the Savage Sports Pod. Clemson will lose to Notre Dame next week if Trevor Lawrence isn't on that field. Mark my words, Notre Dame will beat Clemson. Y'all can screenshot it. Y'all can tweet me later. Y'all can at me on Facebook. If they lose, I don't care. Notre Dame's beating Clemson next week.
Yep. Which therefore means when it comes to the whole little playoff race, if it was going to be one, then that means Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Auburn, and Georgia will be tossed into that top five because there's not really anybody else that's showing anything unless Wisconsin actually comes back. And yeah, that's about all I see as the top five goes. That's going to have any kind of ranking.
I think right now, if you go into a playoff, excuse me, sorry. I think this is going to be your top four teams right now. If I had to pick a playoff, Alabama,
Yep.
Ohio State,
Yep.
Clemson,
Yep.
Notre Dame. The SEC does not have another powerhouse uh, like they normally do each year. Georgia is not the same Georgia we've saw for the last 3 years. Um, Florida is not a great team. They beat Missouri, but they are not a great team.
Nope.
And they're going to have some suspensions happening next week. And next week, I think they got to play Georgia. I could be wrong on that, but I do know, because of that halftime fight, there will be some suspensions handed out. So Florida's not the best team in the SEC East. Georgia actually is, but they're not dominant. Alabama's your only dominant SEC team. Ohio State is pure dominance. We need to see more Wisconsin. If I saw Wisconsin play this weekend, I would have bumped Notre Dame probably. But my top four, again, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. That would be my playoff. If I had to say it right now, that's my playoff.
I can't really argue with that whatsoever. I don't see any other teams actually getting in there. So, I mean,
And
um,
especially in the Big 12. The Big 12 is a
no.
joke. The only knock I have against Ohio State is they're playing a short schedule, and that's not their fault. That's the Big Ten's fault. There is not one single Pac-12 team like the Big 12 that impresses me. Yeah, Oregon may have a decent year. I don't know. We haven't seen anything out of the Pac-12 this year. They start next weekend. I know all my Utah friends, since I'm out here in Utah, they're excited about that. But
Did forget about Utah. Utah
uh,
has
you,
not been doing bad here lately. For the past couple of years, Utah has been up there though.
I'll give
So
it to them. But hey, you know what? BYU's winning right now. BYU's playing. They're not Pac-12. I think they're independent, but they're winning. But don't give me their argument, because BYU hasn't played anybody. They haven't. So, and I want to throw this out there. Why couldn't Sunshine get COVID when Clemson got to play Florida State. Because you know what? They're going to lose to Notre Dame. They're going to be pissed off about that and then beat the shit out of my nose and take it out on them when he comes back. He's going to be mad as hell. He's going to have them beautiful blind locks shaking all over the field. And just I ain't even going to watch that game.
Well,
Oh,
if he has a
Lord.
little bit of a hangover, though, from it, I mean, you can hope for that part of it possibly, or
I
that
can't.
Dabo actually gets sick. If Dabo gets sick, he probably going to be at the house still like, hey, no, that ain't it. Hey, run this play. Like, what?
Hey, you saw what the NCAA did when Saban got sick. Oh, he can test a few more times to see if it says negative. So they ain't gonna let Dabo sit on the sidelines. But I know my partner Griff. That's about all I do. Griff, do you have anything else on college?
I'm going to throw my one wild card team out there, but like I said, this is my one wild card team right now. I'm going to roll with Cincy to throw up a couple upsets. That's my wild card team.
Okay. And I gotta respond to something. Oh, Stacy. Stacy coming in, the big time running back from Wake Forest at one point in time, said he tackled Derrick Brooks. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up, Stacy. Nah, I believe you. He said we need an 18 playoff. I completely agree with that statement, Stacy. I really do. I believe that way you get your teams like Cincinnati, your BYU's, your Boise States a chance to actually compete with the big dogs. The way the system's set up right now, those teams right there will never have a chance of
And it's
making it.
been proven.
Yeah,
They've done that
it's
one
been
before. Two
yeah. There's Boise State should have been there a long time ago.
two years
Granted, I
back to
think
back.
Granted, I think they'd have got mopped by an Alabama or an Ohio State, but they did deserve to go,
Well,
in
at
my
that time
opinion.
they were 13-0, though. That's different now. They would have actually, they might have beat them at
Yeah,
that point.
I'm trying to think of the year they played Oklahoma, and Stacy is extremely intelligent when it comes to football. He's really up on that stuff. So Stacy, if you're still listening, if you know that year that Boise State beat Oklahoma, which I want to say was the 2007 Orange Bowl, let me know, Stacy, in the comments if I'm right or not.
But yeah,
But
I want
I
to
really
say, I want to say it's around 07, 09 time because that was right when
yeah.
Ohio State went and played Texas, and I'm still mad about that one. But that was right when Texas, fourth down, like 10 seconds left on the clock. It's 4th and 10, and they're on the 28. And I watch Ohio State blitz both of their safeties. The dude catches a slant and goes to the house and wins.
And
I
I
remember.
do want to say that time period was the same time that Urban Meyer was coaching Utah, and they beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. We don't want to, y'all Alabama fans don't want to talk about that though, but it did happen. Urban Meyer with Utah, the Utah Utes, whatever the hell a Ute is. No offense to Native Americans. I know, I'm sorry, but I don't know what a Ute is. But they did put an ass whooping on the Tide.
True. But I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, if they break off the 8 playoff teams, I mean, that'll be good, but it definitely ain't going to happen this year. It's way too much stuff going, and this is going to be their trial error period right here. And yeah, I don't see it happening this year. I mean,
And Stacy did just confirm it. It was the 2007 Orange Bowl. But I'm about wrapped up on college. That's all we really got this week, unless Griff's got something. But I do know my man Griff. Oh, let me give a little shout out to Stacy. Hey, Stacy, how about that steel curtain, babe? Still undefeated, huh? But
ain't even
I
friends
know,
no more.
I know, I know. I, I, I mean, it's not like the Steelers would lose to a team like the Bengals. Am I right, Stacy? Anyways, let's kick this off to Griff with some NFL. I know he's got to vent a little bit. Not everybody can pull for a team like the Steel Curtain. So, Griff, go ahead. I'm going to mute myself. Let it rip, babe.
For starters, the hate is real. The hate is real. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I won't be a complete hater, but Steelers, congratulations, y'all are 8-0. it's been a while since hardly any teams have done that one. So congrats to you, Baltimore. Y'all let me down. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all let me down. I was expecting y'all to win, but apparently Big Ben is still ticking. So, congratulations to the Steelers. Shout out to Stacy. I know Murdoch is probably going to be sitting over here watching too because he's a big Steelers fan. I know Rosalind Jackson apparently is a Steelers fan too, saying go Steelers. So, I mean, we got a lot of Steel Curtain fans out there. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Everybody has their team as long as you stay faithful, you know. Can't argue with it. But for me today, Titans versus the Bengals. I could be on this for a minute. I'm sitting here watching the game angry as can be. But the biggest issue I have, not even necessarily with them losing. Okay, I got issue with them losing. But biggest issue is referees. The referees suck. There is no consistency whatsoever when it came to that game. How do you have your 5'10", 180-pound receiver go flying through the air to catch a pass, catches the pass, still while he's diving, catches a helmet and a shoulder to the neck, whips his neck back and forth, gets knocked completely out, and almost still catches the ball. But yet, there is no hitting a defenseless receiver. There is no illegal contact. I mean, there is no penalty whatsoever. Just stand there looking like, oh, snap, did I do that? Referee's like, is he good? Dude looked like he was dead. Like, completely dead, unmoving for like a good 10 minutes. Then you turn around and you have Tyler Boyd cut across the middle, and you have Kenny Vaccaro, who comes up, hands first, pushes him midair after he catches the ball, doesn't lay a helmet into him, doesn't lay shoulder pads into him, just shoves him right in the chest. Defenseless receiver. Penalty, 15 yards. Oh, guess what happens after that? Leads to a touchdown. Titans screwed the pooch away. Yes, they did, because they shouldn't even have let Cincinnati be that close in the first place. But that call alone is just horrible. Then you had another defensive pass interference. Actually, you had two defensive pass interferences that game. One on Jonathan Joseph and one on Rashaan Evans, I think, which would have gave Tennessee the ball in an interception. When the dude wasn't even pulled, he was completely undercut in the first place and was going behind the receiver. Now, the referees gave the Bengals part of that game, but Tennessee let themselves down by letting them even hang in that close. The coverage was a little bit soft. I'm a Titans fan till I die, so don't judge me regardless, however that happens. The cornerbacks are too slow. They're playing off. They're both old as can be. I mean, yes, you draft good defensive front seven normally pushes the field and makes it actually happen. But if they can't get pressure and your cornerbacks are too slow to keep up with the receivers, maybe you need to draft some good cornerbacks. Rant done. Tennessee lost. I'm upset. Got it. But I'm more upset with the referee and on the biasness of what they did have. They know they blew it, but yet it's too late, right? Yeah. Got it.
Well, now it's going to be my turn. My Rams. My Rams. Defense played good. Defense held the Dolphins to 14 points. The Dolphins did not score an offensive touchdown after the second half. They returned a kickoff and they returned interceptions. And that was their two other touchdowns to hit 28. Jared Goff played like crap today. Jared Goff gift-wrapped the Dolphins a win. I don't care what you say. Dolphins were not the better team today. The Rams were missing Jalen Ramsey. Tua took advantage of that and picked on that side where Ramsey would normally be. I will say Aaron Donald welcomed Tua to the NFL quite in an Aaron Donald fashion for the strip sack right off the get-go. But, the Rams choked today. Jared Goff handed them, he gift wrapped to them. I don't know if they met before the game and they gave him a little money or what, but Jared Goff's poor play today gave the Dolphins that game. I was very disappointed. I think it's time for the Rams to choose a running back. I think this three-way split bouncing everybody. Henderson was the hot hand and they didn't stick with him. And Golf played like crap. He played like crap. And he gave that game to the Dolphins. Tua has not impressed me. He did not impress me. He had one good drive on a touchdown, but that was it. That was it. So that's my rant. Jared Goff sucks, and he fucked me in my fantasy.
It's the first time that Jared Goff sucked, and the first time this season that Cooper Kupp has actually played like the receiver he's supposed to be.
That's true. Kupp was everywhere. Kupp was making plays, and Goff just couldn't get him the ball.
No.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
Yeah, so it was, both teams sucked. I will go into the best game of the night that I've seen so far. It's possibly not what I expected, but it happened. The Bears versus the Saints. Overtime. Overtime. I was not expecting that to happen. The Bears gave the Saints a run for the money. I mean, even with Nick Foles playing back there at quarterback, I mean, Montgomery was doing good, but I mean, it was just a battle. I mean, I guess it's the non-presence of Michael Thomas that is leaving the Saints kind of hanging right here. Or it could be just Drew Brees' era is over. Did they win? Yes, they did. But
Breeze looks washed, man. Breeze looks washed. Breeze looks terrible, and he has all season. I think the Saints have got to make a decision here if they want to make a run for the playoffs. I think it's time to change quarterbacks. Throw Winston in, let Breeze be in his ear, let Breeze show him some things that he's seeing. See if Jameis could get it done. And if he's not, put Breeze back in. But Breeze has looked like trash all year, man.
yeah,
Especially without Thomas. Especially without Thomas.
I mean, what was the point of going inside Emmanuel Sanders to compliment, or at least to compliment him? But Sanders has pretty much been non-existent. I mean, you've had the rookies pretty much doing okay, and I mean, honestly, that's no longer Drew Brees' team. That's Alvin Kamara's team. He is literally doing every single thing. The
Everything.
dude almost has more receptions than the receivers.
Yep.
He ain't really getting rushing yards, but receiving wise, the dude is dominating.
Well, you told your game. I'm gonna throw mine out there, and that was the Broncos versus the Chargers. It was a very sloppy game. It looked like the Chargers were going to pull it off. Kicked a couple of late field goals, took the score to 30-24. Inside a minute left, and hey, Locke led them down the field and hit some good passes, and then hit it in the end zone to take the win with 1 second left. And the Broncos pulled it off 31-30. So shout out Bronco Nation. That was a very exciting game. I was on the edge of my seat watching that. And for anybody interested in this dumpster fire going on NBC right now, Philadelphia 7, Dallas 6. We're almost at the 2-minute warning in the second quarter.
Is this a battle of defenses or just both offenses just suck? Which one is it?
They both just suck. Wentz sucks. Dallas's QB is a rookie, so it kind of looks like Dallas. From what I've been watching, it kind of looks like Dallas is leaning on Elliott a lot right now, and Elliott's not getting it done. I've seen him line up in the Wildcat 3 or 4 times now. Yeah,
That's horrible then. If it's just Elliott running the ball, I mean, yeah, can't hear a word you saying. Yeah, it's no, can't hear anything.
all right, there we go. Am I back? Am I back? Sorry, I get cut in and out on here sometimes. I don't know. It's driving me crazy. I'll have to get that fixed before our next episode. But for
True.
all Raider Nation, y'all won today. The Las Vegas Raiders, they beat the Cleveland Browns. And that was, I don't know.
I was about to say that shouldn't even be anything exciting, but at the same
No,
time, I'm like, my team lost to the Bengals, so go figure. Apparently, Ohio is trying to step up their game or something a little bit, but the
you know,
Browns,
the Browns look better to me without OBJ. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they do look a little better to me without OBJ. But I do think the Browns are missing Nick Chubb right now. I think Chubb needs to get rehabbed up and get back out there. Not only for my fantasy points, but I think the Browns are missing him.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly gives you a little insight, though. I mean, you can't necessarily hate that you can be mad that OBJ is gone. Got it. Landry was not necessarily hurting last year, even when OBJ was there. But the big issue was who was behind those two. Was there anybody really worth it? And that's the thing that they possibly needed to address was to get that next little third receiver in there. Higgins is not necessarily bad, but this at least gives you a chance to see what you have as a backup. I mean, injuries happen. Apparently, you can see this year in the NFL. Injuries are everywhere. The last person that probably needs to go down right now will be Ezekiel Elliott. Every team's literally had their star players just demolished. So, I mean, Carolina apparently is still trumping along. I mean, they had a nice little backup in Mike Davis when McCaffrey went down. I mean, Dallas is probably about the only team right now that I can think of that did not have a backup set in place because I do not think Andy Dalton was the answer regardless. And I know they were not plotting for that.
No,
So,
no,
I
Andy
mean,
Dalton was not the answer. And I think Philadelphia, they need to wake up and realize that their starting quarterback, Carson Wentz, is not the answer. He is just, that dude's just terrible.
in Carson Wentz's defense, the dude's been playing the past 2 years with no receivers. The past two, besides Ertz. He's lost all his receivers 2 years back to back, lost his running backs all last year. He's got running backs this year, but the dude is playing on undrafted free agents for receivers right now. And Fulgrim, hey, wherever you came from, remind me to do a little piece about you later on. I got you. You came out of nowhere and you're shining. I love those players. I mean, you can't really argue with those, the ones that are still hungry for it. I mean, most of the players that get big contracts, they're like, I got my money. I'm good. If they let me go, I'm still getting paid. Whatever. I don't. If I play, I'm still getting paid. If I don't play, I'm still getting paid. But Fulgrim, hats off to you, man. But Wentz defense, yeah, he has not really had any receivers to depend on. But even still, they need to figure out something. Wentz is definitely not it at this moment. I mean, if your season is already going down the drain, you might as well give Jalen Hurts a chance. I mean, at least this next week or two to at least show what he's actually got and maybe have you a little bit of trade value or keep him and have him pull Nick Foles. And this time you trade Wentz instead of Hurts.
I mean, I don't know. After halftime, I would possibly put, if I was head coach of Philly right now, I would put Hurts in after halftime just to see if he can get the team
Spark.
they're missing. Yeah, get them that spark. Hurts can hurt you with your legs. Dallas isn't really prepared for that right now. Dallas does have a horrible defense, so why not? I mean, I don't know. Uh,
I don't know. It's been
the NFC East is just a dumpster fire.
um, it's horrible. It's horrible to say the least. I mean, you got Washington is rotating quarterbacks. You got Philly, whose whole offense is hurt. You got Dallas, who lost two quarterbacks in back-to-back weeks and still paying $100 million receiver who has one good game every 5 weeks and doesn't contribute to the win. Um, then you got the Giants, which Barkley gone. Defense, not too bad, but offensive line, they're like a 4 out of 10. I mean, you are the weak link.
But moving on, I want to give a big shout out to Dalvin Cook, who single-handedly pretty much beat the Packers. 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 1 receiving touchdown. Uh, the man was a beast today and on a mission. Big upset, too. Big upset. Minnesota topples Green Bay 28-22. Hell of a game from Dalvin Cooks. Let's see. The Bills, they beat the Pats. Yeah, Cam Newton is just looking terrible. Uh, Colts handle business with the Jets. The Falcons squeaked one out Thursday night, finally, and didn't choke it away. And the Seahawks, they shut down the 49ers. Actually, that was a pretty big lead for a while there, and the 49ers made a good run of it. But that final score ended up being Seattle 37, 49ers 27 to all you Niner and Seahawk fans out there. I think mostly we got the steel curtain in the house tonight, though.
Yeah, I think they're running the pod right now. Still curtain is. I mean, I know I got one Dallas fan out there definitely, but yeah, it's all still curtain today, I believe. But yeah, you said about Cam. I mean, there is one plus side for the Bills. They actually had somebody other than their quarterback lead their team in rushing, and it definitely was not Devin Singletary. Hats off to the rookie, Zach Moss. He actually stepped in and produced, which is probably what they've been waiting for all year long, or at least somebody other than Josh Allen, which if the Bills actually scripted it more to be a run game this time over Allen pass, possibly run the game, good for them because Allen was not going to last this whole season. I don't see it happening. He was going to be another Cam Newton rule episode of him playing the Broncos. So hats off to them on that part. Um, Cam Newton, God, Kaepernick.
I don't know. I've expressed my feelings on Cap. I don't think Cap's a good NFL quarterback. If you wanna bring Cap in and you want to design your offense around a college scheme, then yes, bring Kaepernick in. But if you want a traditional NFL offense, then Cap's not your answer.
I'm saying in my relation, fair point, by the way. In my relation, is Cam Newton on the Kaepernick train pretty much being washed up, have that nice 1 year, and then after that, everything is just downhill after that. That's what I mean.
Could be, could be. I don't know. I still think Cam's got it in him, though. I just think he's not finding the right. The Patriots aren't the right fit for Cam Newton. Him and Bill Belichick, that's not the right. To me, I could be
Right.
wrong.
Cam is like the first scrambling quarterback that Bill Belichick has had. The last one they really had was Bledsoe, and he blew out his knee and got traded to Dallas. So, I mean, it definitely wasn't Tom Brady. He was no scrambler by any means whatsoever. So,
Stacy Grisham brings up a great point. Cap's offense is the Ravens' offense, but I think Lamar Jackson runs that 100 times better than Cap ever would. Other than arm strength, I think Cap's got way better arm strength than Lamar.
we're used to. Nobody's really seen him play here lately. So, I mean,
I don't
but
think he wants to play. We talked about this before. I don't think Cap wants to play. I think Cap likes to put on a little show and a little dance, but he's making a killing from Nike. There's no telling what the NFL paid him during their little thing, lawsuit or whatever you want to call it. I honestly believe Cap doesn't want to play. Because if Cap wanted to play, you can't tell me the Jets or somebody like that don't want to sign him. If he's that good, come on, man. I think he doesn't want to play.
true, true. I mean, speaking of playing, I will bring this one up. One more week. One more week. Antonio Brown, love or hate, either way it goes, will be back and will be playing. His suspension is done. He's probably been on the practice team. And then you also got Dez Bryant, which if he probably been up and running this week, he might have made a difference on that Pittsburgh game because, like I said, Ravens have no possession receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They have burners, but they're not Kansas City. And then AB and him over with Tom Brady. Supposedly he is living with Tom Brady, which I don't really care if he's living with Tom Brady or not. Maybe it's to keep him on lock, whatever else to say, hey, you're not leaving this house. He probably got him on lockdown. But adding AB to that offense that's already clicking right now.
I think Tom Brady would be good for AB. AB needs a resurgence because he's such a good receiver. He really is. AB's such a playmaker, and you need guys like that. So hopefully AB's calmed down and this I don't know, let's just say learned his lesson.
Yeah, they probably gonna go pick up Josh Gordon next week too.
Now, Josh Gordon, Josh Gordon's sitting somewhere in Denver, high as hell right now, smoking a blunt.
Been clean. I've been clean. How long you been clean? What's today? Monday. Since Sunday at 10 p.m. Yeah, but
Well, Griff, do you have anything else you want to touch on here with our NFL side?
I will say this: players get fined for helmet-to-helmet hits. I believe the referee should be fined and possibly be suspended for a game for making horrible calls. It ain't the first time it's happened. It ain't the second time it's happened. But they're the only people that are untouchable. Everybody in the NFL gets fined except for the referees. That's the last note I'm gonna leave off of there. They're the only ones that don't get fined, even when you know they made a mistake, and then they try to make up with it on the same team.
True, true. And I think referees, they're only people. So people are going to make mistakes, correct? I think if we want to go that route, we're going to have to say everything needs to be reviewed from here on out. And the
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys just made a 59-yard field goal. So
Wait, you
good
mean field
on
goals win
good on
games?
Zerline. Well, Cowboys just hit one from 59 yards. Zerline, good.
What
So
do we do? Trade Josh Goskowski to them or something like that? Is that what happened? He went in there, kicked a 59-yard field goal.
all I know is that was a dead. He would have hit that from 62, 63 yards. He'd have hit that from over 60. That was a hell of a kick.
Well, shoot, I know it needs to happen then. When we need to trade one of my backup quarterbacks for their kicker. Apparently, since he can make field goals and extra points, well, they ain't scored to make an extra point yet, but hey, he can make field goals. So
That's it. But to add to your point, like I said, I mean, do we start reviewing every single thing? I think that drags the game on too long.
no,
I
not
think
everything.
I think if it's found, say after a few days, because I know they review things, if a ref is found to have made a horrible, horrible call, yeah, let's get them fined. But I think the only way to cut all mistakes out is you're going to have to review every single call, everything.
I mean, a cut and dry play, yes, but in the point that I'm referencing was Adam Humphries. I will post this possibly later on tonight to the page so everybody can see it. Was literally diving for the ball, still in the air, stretched out, like completely stretched out. And you have, I want to say it was Bates come across the field, helmet to helmet while he's in the air, to the point where it makes Humphries pretty much roll up, and then you see his head go, and dude's out, like
Okay.
just out. Like he didn't even step; he was still in midair when he caught a helmet in the shoulder to his whole head. It was
Once
out.
I see the video, I'll have more opinion on it. But just listening to you describe it, yeah, that sounds like a hit on a defenseless receiver.
Yeah, it wasn't like a jump ball, like kind of pass or anything. I mean, it was downfield like 30 or 40 yards where he had to stretch out for it. Like, not a jump ball. Not like the Cincinnati Bengals where Duke jumped in the air and he shoved him in the chest and they called defenseless receiver, gave him a personal foul for it. Like,
Gotcha.
like that's what I mean. Like, you know it was a bad call. And I'm like, okay, he pushed him. Okay, this was a helmet to helmet one. But there was still nothing. That's the stuff I'm talking about that they should be fined for. If it's something that's completely game changing, I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's just a cut and dry, like, okay, the ball was placed half inch short from a first down, whatever. I'm not arguing about that one too much, but dude, look dead. Like, he almost died. Like, I'm pretty sure he almost died. So that's my opinion of the referee part of it.
Well, Griffin, you got anything else? Because I think I am wrapped on this one.
That's pretty much all I got. And I will leave this one out here tossed up in the air. I know some of the other fans will be happy. Can the Steelers pull a 16-0 season and still make a run into the playoffs?
We shall see. We shall see. Well, I guess that's going to close it out for this episode of our NFL and NCAA recap. We thank you all who tuned in. Some great talking points here tonight. And let us know, comment on the page. Will the Steelers finish undefeated regular season? Uh, we are the Savage Sports Pod. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, of course, our Facebook Lives. Uh, Hit us on the page when we post stuff. Hit us. Let us know what you want to see different. Let us know what we can do better. We are here to entertain you and have a good time and talk sports because we love football. If you cannot tell, we love it. That's why we started this. So, yeah.
Oh, I got a last one for y'all. I think I found. Um, where's she at? Where's she at? I found Sam while he was hung over. Stand by. Give me 2 seconds. I'll show you. Where's Sam? Oh, never mind. Sam got hung up. Sam got hung up, but I will show you this one right here. This was a little bit on the Halloween side of it, so I mean, this was compliments of the wife. Like I said, happy Halloween, everybody. But this is pretty much
Happy
all I got for
Halloween.
y'all. And hey, keep the Savage Sports rolling. Keep hitting us up, YouTube and everything. So hopefully y'all can still hear me on this one. But happy late Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you all got some good candy last night. Hope you dad taxed those Reese's peanut butter cups. Uh, Other than that, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, find us, share, like, follow, share. Tell your friends about us. Help us grow this thing. But until next Wednesday, when we do our completely college only pod, we will see you then. Y'all have a great week.
Good night, everybody.